Hey guys, welcome back to the Digging Deeper Bible Study. I'm Clayton.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we are here to talk to you guys about the first Messianic prophecy in the Bible.
Yeah, so Clayton, how do you pronounce that Greek word in front of us?
Protoevangelium.
Very good. So that's a Greek word meaning proto means first, evangelium means good news or gospel. So this is the first revelation of the gospel, the good news that one would come, a promised one, the Messiah, who would eventually destroy evil once and for all. And so this is talked about all the way back in the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis. And actually, in one of the very first stories within the book of Genesis, the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden and their fall brought about by the serpent in the eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So let's look at the passage that we're speaking about. Now, the prophecy is given in God's curse to the serpent in Genesis 3, 14 and 15. But to give context, I'm going to start with verse 8 of chapter 3 in Genesis, which says, "And they," referring to Adam and Eve, "heard the sound of Yahweh God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. The man, Adam, and his wife, Eve, hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh God among the trees in the garden. But Yahweh God called the man and said to him, 'Where are you?' And Adam said, 'I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked and I hid myself.' He said, 'Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you not to eat?' And Adam said, 'The woman whom you gave to me, she gave me fruit of the tree, and I ate.'" So we see here Adam is passing the buck off onto his wife Eve. "Then Yahweh God said to the woman, 'What is this that you have done?' The woman said, 'The serpent deceived me, and I ate.'" So Eve here is trying to give an explanation. She's not passing the buck, but she's trying to give an explanation for why she decided to do it. She said she was deceived by this serpent. And then it continues. Yahweh God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock, and above all beasts of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life." So this is showing him being defeated in such a manner that it's metaphorically describing him as eating dust, as just being the lowest of the low. And then the curse comes in which the Messianic prophecy is given. "I will put enmity between you, the serpent, and the woman, Eve, and between your offspring and her offspring." And now it's using a singular here to refer to the woman's offspring. "He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." So it's talking about a sort of mutual destruction that'll happen here. The eventual seed, this promised one that'll come from the line of Eve, will have a bruising or a crushing of his heel, but he will simultaneously bruise or crush the head of this serpent. So let's unpack this a little bit. Who or what is the serpent? Well, the serpent, as pointed out by biblical scholars Dr. Michael Heiser and Dr. Tim Mackey and many others, which have excellent content about this on YouTube, we'll provide links to those resources in the description. They identify the serpent not as a normal snake or member of the animal kingdom, but as a rebellious spiritual being. This is a spiritual being that may have had a serpentine form to it, but regardless, it's not a normal snake. Normal snakes don't talk. They don't tell us lies to get us to commit sin. So this is a spiritual being that has that intelligence, that conniving, and that capability to rebel against its creator and lead human beings into sin as well. And we also get this from later scriptures outside of Genesis. Genesis never identifies the Satan as the serpent, but other scriptures do tell us this.
Dad, how come why did you say the Satan? Why just not Satan?
Great question, Clayton. So throughout the Old Testament and New Testament, the definite article is always used in the original Greek and Hebrew to refer to Satan. It's the Satan, because in Hebrew, Satan or Shaitan means adversary or accuser, one that stands against you. So it's not a name. It's a title for who he is. As a matter of fact, nowhere in Scripture is Satan ever actually given a name. It's as though he's not worthy of even being given a name in Scripture. So he's referred to in the Greek and the Hebrew of our Scriptures as the Satan, Hashatan. So that's how I'm referring to him here. And where we get the links to the Satan being the serpent includes passages like Isaiah 27, verse 1, where it connects Satan to the Leviathan, the ancient twisting serpent, and some other titles that talk about his destruction in the end times. Ezekiel 28, in which it's a condemnation against the king of Tyre, but it also is talking about the spiritual being behind the human king of Tyre that was in the Garden of Eden. And so that's where we start to see that Satan is working behind the scenes of human history all along to try to inspire sinful rebellion against Yahweh. And then the most clear linking between the serpent in the garden and the Satan himself is by the Apostle John in the book of Revelation. In Revelation 12:9, it identifies the dragon as the Satan and also refers to him as that ancient serpent. So it's identifying all those connections back to this rebel that we read about in Genesis chapter 3. Now, let's talk about the mutual destruction that occurs. So the bruising of the serpent's head, that is a death blow. If you crush the head, that kills once and for all. Now, Jesus' death on the cross was the beginning of that process. His second coming, when he comes to destroy Satan once and for all, after his release from the pit and after the millennial period when he's destroyed once and for all, that'll be the final crushing of his head, the death blow that ends Satan and evil once and for all. But like I said, this is a mutual destruction. So when Jesus was on the cross, he himself received a bruising of his heel, a crushing of his heel. And that was done by the nails being driven into his heel, into the heel of his feet, and into the wrists of his hands. And we also see this connecting to a prophetic psalm given by King David in Psalm 22, where he says, "For dogs encompass me, a company of evildoers encircle me. They have pierced my hands and feet. I can count all my bones. They stare and gloat over me. They divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots." Now, this was written about 1,000 years before the life of Jesus, and we have a number of things talked about here that pinpoint details that actually happened in Jesus' death and crucifixion, including piercing of his hands or wrists and his feet, his bones not being broken, and his garments, his clothing being lots being casted on them. Basically, the Roman soldiers gambling for his clothes as a bragging trophy for later. Now, the word that's used in the Hebrew of Genesis 3 that's translated as bruise or crush is this word shuf in Hebrew. And it is talking about a bruising or crushing as we see displayed here. Now, to further flesh out how this passage, this curse against the serpent, is a messianic prophecy about what Jesus Christ will one day do in the ultimate destruction of Satan, but also what he has already done in his atoning death on the cross. I'm going to link in the description a number of great resources from the Bible Project, from Joel Richardson, from Dr. Michael Heiser, and from Reverend John MacArthur. These are excellent resources that flesh out even further this prophecy, the Protoevangelium, the identity of the serpent that is in the Garden of Eden, and how this prophecy that's given in this curse against the serpent is a description of the promised one, the Messiah, that would one day come to finish the job of bringing justice against the one who began injustice all the way back in the Garden of Eden.
if you liked this video, please put a like on this video. If you have any questions or anything, leave us a comment in the comment section below. Share this video with your friends, and please help us get more views. Subscribe to us so we can get more subscribers. And by the way, only nice comments, by the way. I've seen some videos where people have gotten really nasty comments. We're trying to avoid that. We do not want that on this channel. And by the way, and thank you for watching this video.
Thanks, everybody.